Hello everyone, welcome back to the Human Reviews channel, and today we are listening to Xiu Xiu's Go With a Basket of Fruit. Now, you may be wondering, why the hell are you listening to this album? Didn't you say multiple times on your live streams that you would never listen to this album again? Yes, I did, but, let me show you people something. Brad Taste in Music. Where is my camera? Brad Taste in Music just put out this video saying that if we listen to Go With a Basket of Fruit and he watches it and he likes it, we could receive a cash money prize, ladies and gentlemen. So, of course I'm gonna do it. Of course I'm gonna sit down and listen to this album, okay? By the way, one thing you need to do is let Brad know that this video exists, okay? I'm literally going to be listening to this, going straight to the editing booth, which is right here, and I'm going to be editing this video literally straight after I'm done filming, okay? I don't even care how many people show up in this stream. I don't even care how many views this gets. I could lose all of my subscribers because this is the worst reaction ever, but this is all I care about, okay? This album came out in 2019. It is 9 songs, 36 minutes. It's a pretty short album, to be fair. I'm gonna do this without chat on screen as well. I listened to this album once before. It was back either 2021 or 2022. I would have been 14, 15 when I first listened to this. And the reason I listened to it actually was through Brad Taste in Music. I had recently discovered the website Album of the Year, and I saw that he gave this album a 10. So I was like, you know, hey, this guy introduced me to Radiohead, this guy introduced me to Swans. I love both of those bands. Let's see if I mess with Xiu Xiu. Based on the band name, based on the title, based on the cover, I thought this album was going to be kind of Bjork sounding. I thought it was going to be similar to Bjork, and I was so wrong. I was so very wrong. I listened to this, and by the time I got to the song Mary Turner, I wanted to throw up. This was one of the most disgusting, disturbing things ever. I absolutely hated the experience of listening to this album, but loved what the album was as a concept, if that makes sense. Something that is just so gross to listen to, and that is not pleasant at all. So, with that being said, let's just get straight into this. Track 1, Go With a Basket of Fruit.
Take a break! The pressure rips are apart! The baby duck in you has died! Pushing out an effort to tuck! That she's in love with the angel! Stop laughing! When the light promiser makes her say
Okay, so I remember absolutely nothing about this album except for Mary Turner. I legit don't remember a thing about this. It's like it's been blocked from my mind. I'm liking this intro. I'm liking how absolutely ridiculous and over the top and abrasive and in your face this intro is. Reminded me a little bit of like Daughters. I don't know. It doesn't feel like exactly like Daughters, but there's definitely some elements in here that are reminding me of Daughters a little bit.
Look at her try to walk away! Let it bar! Photos of her jerking into mush! Let it bar! It's the jackfruit. The dragon fruit. She sits on a bicycle and eating gherkins by the fistful from the jar in his front pants pocket. Brine and peppers building up on the rings round his fingers. Every frog hops right up into her butthole. Every frog eats a single butthole flea on its way in. She brown box squeezes them all until frogos.
I don't remember the album being this ridiculous. Like, what? That whole section there. What? Okay, sure.
At the witch execution.
Okay. What an intro. I do not remember that intro at all. I'm happy to say that on the second time around listening to this album, I like that a lot more. I'm not quite as disturbed by it. I just see that song as absolutely insane and ridiculous and surprisingly very entertaining. There was just so many just outrageous lines in there. There was that one bit in there where he was talking about the frogs going into someone's butthole, and it was just like, what? Excuse me? The other big thing here is the sound of this. I am absolutely in love with the sound of this first song. It sort of feels like a blend of Daughters with maybe a little bit of some like Death Grip sounding elements in there as well. And just these vocals being so over the top, and the guy is just screaming his lungs out basically the entire song. It is literally the most insane way you can start an album off, and I'm happy to say that second time listening to this, I'm enjoying that a lot more. I would give that first song a 9.2. Yeah, it's like a low 9, probably like a 9.2. That is a great way to start this album off. Next up, It Comes Out As a Joke. I remember nothing about all of these songs except for Mary Turner, by the way. Look at this bit of hair that's sticking out. It won't go down. I don't know why. It just
Knuckles short life in the ribs. It comes out as a joke. Riding a tomato on rubber wheels. It looks at its
See, now this has some of the more, like, creepy, disturbing elements that I remember from my first listen. The intro to this song is just weird, and it is so creepy. Like, there is nothing about this intro that makes any sense, and it's just so unsettling. I'm honestly, I am really enjoying it the second time around, though. I'm seeing this less as it's making me feel sick, and more as, man, this is really disturbing. I would want to listen to this again. So, he keeps bringing up this, like, jerking it to mush thing. I wonder if that's gonna be, like, a running thing throughout the album. I don't remember.
But there's a joke as well. Bedroom filling with true blood. Bedroom filling with smokes.
Okay, that outro, oh my god. Just this sudden, massive build of intensity and anger at the end there. This guy just screaming at the top of his lungs that his bedroom's being filled with smoke. And it's, but honestly, the most effective moment on this song is that outro. That caught me off guard, and also gave me a little bit of that, like, disgusted feeling that I listened to the first time I heard this. Not quite on the same level, but, like, there was a little bit of that in there. This entire song I honestly like even more than the first one. It has, it's a lot, I feel, darker than the first song. It's a lot less ridiculous. It doesn't lean into that quite as much, and that honestly brings it up a little bit for me. I prefer that this song is a more disgusting and, like, just truly depraved song, I guess. That's what I prefer and what I kind of want out of this album. And I feel like this song really hits the nail on the head with that. I genuinely would probably give this a 10. This song basically did exactly what I wanted returning to this album. Is that it was disturbing, it was just really not very pleasant to listen to, but it didn't want to make me throw up. I'm loving this way more on a second listen, and I'm honestly so glad I am. Next track, Amargi Ve Moo.
1 and 2 and 3. To seem like something you would collect in the offensive ways of all flesh.
Ooh. Those, like, lower notes when they came in on the strings, it sort of feels like some looming, like, threat, I guess, is kind of what that sounded like to me. Maybe this guy is talking about a tumor, and I could see in the lyrics that something's spreading like a cancer. Maybe it's like... I don't think he literally means cancer. I think he's describing something as a cancer, be that like a societal issue, or maybe like some sort of great plague or something like that. I don't even know. It's a very interesting way of portraying that by having just those low notes sounding so sinister and like something's right around the corner. That's really interesting.
I am not ready and cannot accept that it is spread. Good night, good night. Don't look, sweet old friend. Don't look, little sister. Get away, young light. Get off, get back, get off. All night. I cannot accept.
What?
Chunks of your forearm, chunks of your scalp, chunks of your hunch, now in a dumpster or in a sandwich. Out of conscience.
Listen, I'm gonna be completely honest, that song was too weird even for me. Listen, I'm fine with songs getting super weird and being really out there, but that one kind of went a little too far in my opinion. It sort of leaned into it so heavily to the point where I was like, okay, I get it. Like this guy going blah, 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 down the mic, that was just kind of like, huh? And then he's like singing in this old-timey English speak. He's talking about coconuts and bananas, beheading saints and stars in the bosoms of Abraham, or whatever. And this just kind of read as just this album being pushed maybe a little too far. I don't really get how I was so disturbed. I know why I was so disturbed by Mary Turner, Mary Turner. When I get to that, I'm gonna hate it. But for the first leg of this album, I don't get why this disturbed me so much the first time I listened to it. This album has had a surprisingly sharp sense of humor up to this point. Maybe this pushes that a bit far, but I didn't hate this necessarily. I still thought this song had its moments. It still had some elements that I enjoyed about it, like the string arrangement towards the beginning that teased something menacing around the corner that felt very sinister and honestly was very effective right at the very beginning there. But besides that, I just wasn't really crazy on this one. I would give this song like a 6, like probably like a 6.5, somewhere in that range, anywhere between like a 6.4, 6.6, somewhere around there. Why is this so early? Because I woke up, I watched Brad's video, and I was like, that's what I'm doing this morning. That's how I'm starting my day. I literally woke up at like 10:30. I looked down at my phone, saw that he posted that video. I watched it, ran downstairs, made some tea, came back up here, and just went live. I've never done that before, woken up and gone live. But we're doing it today. Next track, Ice Cream Truck.
A skull in a bottle and a baby on a boob. Oh, died born for nobody. Nobody move. Puff, puff.
Yeah, this is the only album I've listened to from Xiu Xiu,
As it
yeah.
was in the big.
Hey, no way, is that? Oh my god, Brad Taste is actually in chat. Oh my god, that's crazy. That's actually mad. How's it going, man? What the f— I know you say you'd be watching these, I didn't think you'd, like, be watching them right now.
Who is it?
Jesus Christ. Oh, what the hell?
Smile, donut. Smile and then don't. Smile and then don't.
Okay. That was one of my favorites up to this point. Yeah, I like that one a lot. That was the shortest song on the album up to this point, but also one of the most effective. Let me go back and look at the lyrics here, actually. Song starts off with him saying, "I wasn't gonna hurt you, I've heard that one before. Flip-flops turned grey foot twisted round the wrong way." So he's talking about somebody's hurt. She is and was passed out and will always be passed about. Is this a concept album? I remember Mary Turner is the only song that I haven't blocked from my memory from this album. And I remember that Mary Turner is about, like, the girl being killed. Is this a concept album that I just haven't been picking up on up to this point? Because he's talking about a girl being passed around and then she was pregnant in Mary Turner. I don't know. I should probably be looking at Genius to try and figure this out. Because it is, I have been awake for less than an hour. So I am way too tired to try and pick apart lyrics right now. In fact, let me do that. I'm going to get Genius up, and I am going to actually try and figure these lyrics out, because I kind of feel like this might be a concept album. The album is definitely esoteric, and I kind of take it as a manic rambling for many of these songs, but later on it becomes a lot more obvious what's happening. Yeah. The beginning of this album is just so weird. Like, it's way weirder than I even remember it being. And I, like, listened to this when I was, like, what, 14, 15? And then I just haven't listened to it since. Oh, this song is about trafficking, I see. Oh, she was passed out and will always be passed about. That's okay, I get it now. See, I'm figuring it out. I'm a genius. Okay, so the song is about trafficking. Oh, ice cream truck as well. Oh. Okay. That's messed up. That is actually disgusting. Okay, see, now I'm sort of getting that same, like really disgusted, like, super depraved sort of, like, feeling that I got when I first listened to it. Because now that I know the context of this song, it's even worse. Because looking back at these lyrics, I wasn't gonna hurt you, I've heard that one before. And then hair dyed blonde for nobody. Knowing the lyrics of that song, context of that song, rather, even improves it for me. I would bump that up to maybe, like, that is a 9.8, bordering on a 10. If I re-listen to that, that could genuinely grow to a 10. And that I did. I gave the track one more listen, and it's a 10. It is just straight up a 10. That is lyrically the most effective on the album up to this point, and I like that it's the shortest, because I feel like if that song was any longer, it might have overstayed its welcome a little bit. But yeah, that was one of, if not my favorite up to this point. Next track, Pumpkin Attack on Mummy and Daddy. It doesn't fit on the Spotify card. Let's go.
Loader, Ray, they're sitting there and waiting.
Okay. Mary Turner is based on a real-life hate crime. Oh, Jesus Christ. Actually? Man, that makes that song even worse. I'm loving the industrial elements of this album, honestly. That's what I'm focusing on more. The first time I listened to this, I was just so disgusted that I wasn't paying attention to the music. But re-listening to this, I'm absolutely loving the industrial elements. They are done so well here. Like, this album surprisingly goes hard. Like, I don't remember this sounding so great. Like, it has such a menacing undertone throughout the entire thing, and I'm in love with this. Yeah, the production's fantastic on this. I legit, I don't remember the sound of this at all. Alright, I'm going back on Genius. I want to figure this song out. Okay. So, as explained by Xiu Xiu's lead band member Jamie Stewart in his drunk commentary for the album, the title of this track is a synthesis of multiple stories all being put into one song. The Pumpkin Attack refers to a prank Stewart and his friend Melissa Guilford pulled on the owners of the Cobalt Cafe in LA sometime in the early 90s after they were kicked out of the establishment for being too obnoxious. They turned off the power to the building knowing that it was staffed at the time by teenagers who wouldn't know what to do, and that this would prompt the owners to leave home and head to the cafe to deal with it. Wait, knowing their home address, Stewart and Guilford packed a truck with maybe 100 pumpkins from the pumpkin patch at a Pierce College nearby and scattered them all over the owner's yard while they were gone. What, so this song is about them pulling a prank? And then Mummy and Daddy refers to two stories told each told separately by Angela Scio and Elliot Reed, who both contributed lines improvised before they were stitched together into a nightmarish dance track, and any context to either of the stories was all but completely obfuscated. I honestly kind of love that, the fact that this is just like a complete mix of pure randomness. It's like part them pulling a prank and then two other people's stories just being smashed into one thing and being put together into this very effective, surprisingly kind of disturbing song, even though it's not about a disturbing topic in the slightest. Okay, the saw blade's going crazy there, actually. This song is definitely, like, the best sounding so far. This song is, like, instrumentally my favorite, definitely. Yeah, re-listening to this and how much I'm enjoying it on a second listen, I would be open to listening to more Xiu Xiu. The whole album is disturbing except this. I mean, I guess so. This song is just kind of goofy. Cool. Yeah. That was my favorite song instrumentally. That song feels like it's probably going to be the most re-listenable out of the whole album. Because it isn't about a super disturbing topic, it's just about the lead singer, like, pulling a prank or something. And then it has this just super hard instrumental underneath it. I feel like that would be the most re-listenable, despite the fact that it sounds very harsh. It's sort of... It's not the best comparison, but it sort of reminds me of Nine Inch Nails in that it sounds just so over-the-top, distorted, just, like, not pleasant to listen to, but it probably would be very re-listenable for me. I would give that song a 10, honestly. Instrumentally, that went so goddamn hard to the point where I kind of don't even care that it is a little off-topic in terms of the rest of the album, because in terms of pacing, in terms of production, in terms of just how overblown the sound of the track is and how many interesting ideas are being thrown into the mix, that is my favorite so far. That one I would actually give a 10. Hey, second time listening to this album, I'm absolutely loving it. Next track, The Wrong Thing. Okay, so this song literally ends with 10 seconds of silence. It was more of a Death Grips meets soundtracks thing. I can see a bit of Death Grips in here, yeah.
Rabbit, carpet beetle, boohoo grub.
I can't bear what they say about you.
The intro is actually kind of gorgeous.
They spent eating and only eating without ease and without reflection.
Oh my god. Wait, hold on. This is the most, yeah, this is definitely the most atmospheric song so far.
Pull through the sand, and yet not dull.
Man, I didn't pause once throughout that song. See, that's bad reaction right there. Yeah, that is definitely the most atmospheric song so far. I completely agree with that, yeah. Yeah, that was like definitely the least abrasive song on the album up to this point. It was like mostly just synths and strings, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Like, actually, that song was surprisingly very beautiful. It's not my favorite up to this point. There is a part of me that does kind of miss the super intense, high energy industrial sound a little bit on this track, but it is also nice to have a little bit of a break and a little bit of a slowdown on this one. What album that I've heard would I say has the best atmosphere? Maybe Kid A? Possibly Kid A. Man, there's just too many. There's too many to choose from, you know? I would maybe say Kid A. Even if it's not my favorite Radiohead album, I feel like the atmosphere of that album being so cold and icy, I would probably have to say that, yeah. I got a little distracted there. As I was saying, this song is gorgeous, but there is a part of me that does kind of miss the super high energy industrial sound. So that does bring it down a tiny bit. For that reason, I'll still give it like a flat 9, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe on a repeated listen that could grow to be even higher. But for now, hey, flat 9, still a great track. Giving it another listen, I think that song has grown on me a little bit. I think that the slowness actually works a lot better than I initially thought it did, and I think that it's a nice little break in the album. I'd bump the score up to maybe like a 9.5. I've been marking these tracks wrong. That was not track 7, that was track 6, and then this is track 7. Oh god, here we go. Mary Turner, Mary Turner. I remember this song. I'm not excited for this. So, when I first listened to this album, it was around this song that I started to want to throw up. I remember 15-year-old me was like, oh man, I've listened to The Sia by Swans, I can handle anything. And then I listened to this song, and it was like the most disgusting, awful thing ever. I hated it so much. And I still remember it to this day. Yes, now that I know it's based on a real hate crime, that makes this so much more awful, considering the great detail they go into in this song.
Hazel Turner, murdered by a lynch mob. She declares this crime a crime. Gasoline and motor oil smeared on her clothes. She is hung up by her ankles from the trees. A match is struck and she is set ablaze.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, this, even now, I've heard this song 3 times now, because I got sent it on the stream. It's still just as, like, awful. Yeah, I'm definitely checking out more of that stuff after this as well.
Mary Turner, buried where they were murdered.
I forgot about this outro.
Fuck your war. Fuck your truck. Fuck your flag.
Look, this song is still just so disgusting and just so off-putting to me. I don't want to throw up, okay, like I did all those years ago. Still, that song, and now that I know that it's based on real events too, oh my god, that is so awful. And the level of detail they go into with just letting you know how disgusting and gruesome this was as well. That is actually disgusting. I never want to listen to this song, okay? I've listened to this song 3 times now. Once when I listened to the album, once when I got sent it in on stream, and now. I don't want to listen to this song again, but considering how effective it is in making me feel so disgusted and so disturbed, it wouldn't feel right not giving this a 10, if that makes sense. Because it does exactly what it wants to do to such an insane degree that I have never had with any other song. This song messed me up for, like, days the first time I heard it. I was just, like, it was constantly stuck in my head, the image of this song, for literal days. And no other song that I have ever listened to has been able to do that. So for that reason, on a personal enjoyment level, I wouldn't even know how to score it, but as a statement on the album, it wouldn't feel right giving it any less than that, because of how effective it is in what it's trying to do. Feeling a 9, it doesn't really scare me, I just appreciate how they're able to replicate it as a musical form perfectly. Yeah, I get what you mean, yeah. And also, on a sonic level, that song is also very impressive. The fact that even just the instrumental was able to be just as, if not even more creepy than the song itself. Next up, Scissors. I don't remember these final 2 tracks.
Oh, there he is. I can't remember who you are.
This album is like surprisingly packed with a lot of really interesting sounds. I don't remember this thing being like so varied.
Light a candle. Pull the handle. You are erased.
Okay, that was really cool. So light a candle, pull the handle. The annotation on here says this could be light a candle, pull the handle, you are erased. This could be referencing heroin consumption, melting and putting it in a syringe. I could kind of see that, yeah. And now bugs the size of real sows related to drug withdrawal. The main character is feeling bugs sewed upon herself. The feeling is equivalent to real sows female cows invading inside the character's skin. Jesus Christ. This is probably my favorite vocal performance on the album up to this point. I've heard the theme and message of this album seems to be about crimes happening against women. Yeah, that does seem to be like the running theme of this. Oh, maybe this song is about someone being drugged. That would make more sense, actually. Yeah, the song's called Scissors as well. Yeah, I'm guessing that song is about someone being drugged. I guess that would make the most sense pulling from these lyrics. Wait, hold on. The Simone Hotel, that is an annotation. The Simone Hotel is an apartment building in the Skid Row neighborhood of LA that exists as permanent supportive housing for the homeless, disabled people, recovering drug addicts, and people in extreme poverty. Skid Row is notorious for its homeless population, and this song may be about someone who was formerly homeless, now living in supportive housing. So I guess this person is living here and then is drugged by someone. That's what I'm getting from this, at least. Yeah, she shouts, "God, God. Dear Dr. Duck, what's the solution for people like us? Half of the trash, half of the hornets. It could be 4 times as good if you lie down there again." Yeah, it sounds like this person has been drugged and then probably assaulted. That's what I'm getting from this, at least, which is just, again, it ties in with the theme of crimes against women, and it's just absolutely disgusting. The sound of that song as well is one of my favorites up to this point. The percussive elements of that were absolutely incredible. Like, right at the beginning, you had this entire, like, I guess, army of drums being played at the same time, and then you got into the end where it's just these super intense, really loud electronic drums being played in there that just completely take over the mix. That was, like, definitely the highlight of that track. I will say, I feel like this one, in terms of sound outside of that, is maybe my, well, not my least favorite. I'd say Amargi Ve Moo is still probably my least favorite. I'd say this track doesn't quite reach the heights of certain other tracks, especially coming right after Mary Turner, Mary Turner. I'd say I still love the song. I'd still give it like a high 8, but I feel like compared to a lot of other stuff on this album, it doesn't quite hit me in the same way, I guess. On a repeated listen, I disagree with this. I'd give this song like a 9.3. But I just feel like it doesn't quite reach the same level that a song like Mary Turner or Ice Cream Truck does. We're here. We're at the final song already. No More Love. Oh yeah, another thing I forgot to mention, the vocal performance on that track was also maybe the strongest on the album up to this point.
What have you become? I can't say so. Yeah, no, yes, no.
Alright, thank you for being here, man. There's
Sprinkle.
kind of crazy you're in my chat. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Reminding you of the end of the downward spiral. I could kind of see that, yeah.
Hey, Captain, want me to speak? I don't need to feel bad.
Sad and calming song after the abrasiveness of the rest of the album.
I think I
Well, Hurt isn't necessarily calming. Hurt does have its explosive vocals, like towards the back half of the track. That was a fantastic closer. I like that this ends on a slower note. It makes a lot of sense with this album being so intense and so, like, just disgusting. Having it end on this slow, calming moment actually makes a lot of sense. I like that a lot. Let me take a look at the lyrics on Genius here. Okay, what the award for worst annotation might go to this, where the guy says normal love. This guy, the annotation here says, judging by the rest of the song, this is not very normal love. Great annotation. I would have never guessed that. Okay, there's only 2 annotations on this entire song, and neither of them are very helpful. So I'm gonna guess that maybe this is an abusive relationship. Say, yeah, towards the end, I don't need it to be fair. I don't need you to be kind. Just let me pretend I have something to lose. Like, that is just... Yeah, that's what I'm pulling from this, at least. Also, the sound of this is just absolutely gorgeous. The production still is fantastic. Like, with this, like, piano going on throughout it, this sounds so spacey and adds a lot of atmosphere in here, as well as the vocals and the way they're mixed and the effects being used on them. It is, like... This song is definitely the most pretty moment on the album, which is kind of weird to say with an album like this, but yeah, it is a surprisingly very gorgeous way to close this off. After re-listening, is this still the most disturbing album you've ever heard? I would say Mary Turner is still one of, if not the most disturbing song I have ever heard. Like, ever, full stop. Absolutely awful song. But also a great song. But the album as a whole, probably not. Actually, possibly still, because this album is still very just gross and disgusting and messed up. But it's not at the point where it's like, oh man, I can never listen to this again, this is too much for me. It's now at a point where I'm like, okay, this is really disturbing, and I like it. I like how gross and depraved a lot of this is, and I feel like I could even see myself re-listening to certain songs on this album. For example, like, I could see myself returning to Pumpkin Attack on Mummy and Daddy a decent bit, because it gives me a lot of similar feelings that I guess Nine Inch Nails does, where it's so heavy and so intense, and it has this ridiculous, overblown industrial sound. But I would still, you know, return to it, because I feel like the song kind of goes hard, you know what I'm saying? Is there any album that has come close? That Chat Pile album. That Chat Pile album from a couple years ago is... Bro. Like, Grimace smoking weed at the end of the album as well. That's yeah, that Chat Pile album really was disturbing. Well, I didn't give my score for this song. My score for this song would be a 9.5. Very, very strong way to close this album. And that was Girl with a Basket of Fruit. Oh, sorry, Girl with Basket of Fruit. There's not... I thought it was Girl with a Basket of Fruit, but no, it's just Girl with Basket of Fruit. Real quick before I give my final thoughts on the album, I am going to add up all of my scores, and then I will tell you what my overall score for this album is. I am feeling a 9.2 out of 10 on this album. With my updated scores, that has grown to a 9.3. A massive change, I know. This, yeah, on a second listen, I'm happy to say that this album has grown on me a lot. The only song I found myself not really being crazy on this album was Amargi Ve Moo. But even then, I didn't think that song was bad in the slightest. I just thought it was a little too weird for me. And the rest of the album is just such an effective, disturbing, but also surprisingly engaging and even at points hypnotic experience of an album. Like, the super overblown industrial sound makes me feel like I could return to this just on, like, a sonic level, and then the super disturbing, awful lyrics feel like I could dive even further and pull even more out of this album in terms of lyrical content on repeated listens. This is still one of the most disturbing albums I've ever heard. Mary Turner, just absolutely awful. I can't stand that song, and I also love it at the same time. I am very glad I re-listened to this, and I'm glad that Brad Taste put out the challenge for this, because I feel like had that not been the case, I probably would have never listened to this album again. So I'm glad that he did, so that I got to give this album another try. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of this album down below. Do you love it? Do you hate it? What do you want me to listen to? Any other Xiu Xiu albums in the future? Let me know what other albums by other artists you'd like to see me listen to down below as well. Link in the description to my Discord and my gaming channel, and also now my album of the year. Make sure you follow gaming channel and album of the year, and also join the Discord to, you know, chat to me, other people in the community. We talk about music and movies and games and stuff over there, so make sure you head over there. Subscribe. We're close to 1k, very close to 1k. We're at like 950 subs right now. Make sure you do that. That would be cool. And yeah, that is about it. I will see you all whenever I next stream or upload. Bye bye.